Hello everyone, Bashar here. So we had the GGG's patch 0.2 reveal stream, right? There was a lot revealed, and the stuff that's coming is pretty nice. So let's just go over them, for the TLDR version and also my comments about the stuff. So first and foremost, we have a class coming. The Huntress is coming. My camera appears to be in the way. Let me hold up. Let me just grab that. Okay, I have grabbed myself. Okay, I am now out of the way. No, that's the Path of Exile stream location, so you don't block the health orb. Sorry about that. Just let's start over. So we have the Huntress coming. She's going to be using a spear. I mean, she is meant to use a spear, but you don't have to, I guess. And also another type of shield is coming called buckler. The regular shields in the game we have, it has the raise shield ability. You just raise your shield for increased block chance. This time around we have the parry with the bucklers. It throws monsters of balance and allows you to disengage, and you unleash chaos upon them. So she also has some bleed synergies. She can bleed stuff. She also has lightning spear. She releases some twisters. There are lots of things that she does. It's looking good, of course, but I will not dare starting the new season with the Hunters, because I don't really know what's going on. I will try to start with a more solid character, a character that I know, so I can have a good start for the season, because for season 0 I did have a very slow start, and I had to catch up. It was slow to catch up anyway. So what do we have? We have 5 new ascendancies, 2 for the Huntress, 1 for the Witch, 1 for Warrior, and there was one more. Yes, Warrior, Lich, Witch. Mercenary. Yeah, I forget about the mercenary one. Okay, anyway, let's just go into them. I am not going to go as much into detail. So the ritualist is somewhat insane. You generally reduce your mana, but what he has is insane. He can unlock a third ring slot, and the belt to go for season 0 was ingenuity, right? I mean, and it can be corrupted while extremely expensive, up to 98%, let's say almost 100%. So you are just getting double bonuses from your rings, sort of. But of course, as I said, extremely expensive, mirror level. But anyway, guys, 85% are somewhat affordable. And imagine you get 3 rings. And there is also another node that gives the ritualist, the first Huntress Ascension, 25% increase stats from rings and amulets, right? So you have 3 rings and an amulet. They all give 25% extra, and combine that with the ingenuity, it's insane. And as far as we know right now, the ingenuity bonus would work for the 3rd ring slot as well. So yeah, so there are some charm stuff. I mean, guys, charms have such a minor role in the game. I wouldn't, spend ascendancy points on anything regarding charms, unless they gave them permanent uptime or something. But of course, the ring is insanely good. But there are some downsides here, right? As you can see, reduced spirit, reduced elemental resistances, reduced max mana. I mean, it doesn't come free, but still, guys, 3 ring slots are, I think, very fine. And it has a headhunter-like ability. You kill some monster and you gain the modifier of it, and there is a later node that allows you to, sacrifice your own health to trigger a headhunter bonus. But of course, there are lots of useless bonuses, right? And you just get one. Yeah, But of course the ring is insane. Let's just go to the next one. Let's not spend too much time with this. There is a Amazon, the second ascendancy. This one is, you know, more like a nuking character, right? You build crit chance, you infuse your weapon, etc. Yeah. Life loss also. I didn't see this. Life loss also recover mana. Mana plus also recover life. Life loss recover mana is insane because, guys, life flask recover much more resource compared to mana flask, right? I mean, that means your life flask will fully fill your mana, right? If you go for a, rather normal build, right? Because life flask can go upwards of like 2000 or something, right? I mean, you have a lot of increased amount restored, etc. Infused weapon gives you charges. Yeah. Accuracy gives you damage. That's interesting because, guys, accuracy is just a non-stat up until now. You open weaknesses. Okay, that's more for a nuking. This one is interesting. Smith of Kitawa, that's a warrior. You smith during the field, gaining yourself fire resistance or something, and has a very interesting thing. If you look here, there are lots of passives here. You can basically craft your own body armor, right? You have to wear a normal quality of body armor, and you can select some modifiers there to basically craft your body armor. That would be useful in the early season, but of course, once you progress, you can get better chests, and the better chests will, outmatch this, so to speak. Yeah, that was the one I'm talking about. I was talking about grand skill. Temper weapon cause you to stand still and hit an anvil for 3 to 4 seconds. This buffs your weapon goes in. I mean, guys, I would say this is maybe starter or something, starter build. So guys, in the end game you wanna be so quick. Now, standing still and hitting an anvil for 3 to 4 seconds, yeah, it's not really something that you would like to do, right? It's gonna be pretty slow. And there is something nice again, modifiers to maximum fire resistance, also grant maximum cold and maximum lightning resistance. Yeah, this would provide a lot of survivability because, guys, the difference between having 75% resist and 90% resist is, you get 60% additional damage reduction compared to 75% damage reduction. Because, guys, imagine, let's say 100 fire damage is coming our way. We have 75 resistance, which will mean we will take 25 resistance, right? And that is our perception. We take the 25 damage, and that is 100% for our purposes, right? So if you have 90% resistance, you will be taking 10 damage, and the 25 gets down to 10. That means 60% damage reduction, right? Because 25, 60% is 15. That's the amount of reduction that we see. And there is also some maximum fire resistance in this ascendancy tree, right? Which means you can reach, 90%, and that would make you very, very survivable, right? As I said, compared to 75% resist, you have 60% additional damage reduction for the specific element, and your fire resistance gets translated into cold and lightning as well. So this doesn't feel endgame to me, right? I might be wrong. Of course, we'll have to see the numbers, but yeah, it could be a nice season start. So, for example, guys, you start the season with this, right? You do the temper weapon, you gain the fire damage. It helps you finish the campaign quickly, right? Get you into the end game. You play a little, right? Because in the early days, every item found is very important, right? Because imagine, guys, if you want the Pillar of the Cage God, for example, right now, you can have it for 1 exalted, right? It will rain on you. But imagine the first day. I mean, it would maybe cost again a few exalteds, but the thing is, today's exalteds is not even going to be worth 1% of the first day's first exalteds, because there would literally be only so many exalteds and divines, etc., on the first few days. So getting a quick start can be useful, and we know from the races that that GGG held, warrior is a very fast starter, right? The mace stuff deals insane damage. So these are the modifiers that we can have. +5 max res, yeah. I mean, you combine that +5 max fire res with the other thingy, and you can get your resistance increased. There are also some max resistance stuff in the passive tree, right? You could, go for that. Yeah. So next up we have Lich. That's Witch Ascendancy. Interesting. So we have a socket, and in that socket we can put a jewel in, right? And normally, that's not a very big deal, because you can, in the end game, you can spend 4-5 points to get another jewel slot, right? The big deal is that its value is doubled, right? Every modifier on it is doubled, but it also has a downside, as it is normal with Path of Exile. If you have no energy shield, mana costs are increased by 50%. Yeah. So there is that. Non-challenge spells consume power charges to deal 25% more damage. Yeah, there is one way of gaining power charges. The lingering infusion, lingering something, lingering image. I mean, there are, you believe some behind some images, and when that image is it, you gain power charges. So you could use that with that, right? Now, interesting stuff. 10% of damage taken bypass energy shield. No inherent mana regeneration. Regenerate mana equal to 6% maximum life per second. Okay, so you need to stack life. And the thing is, guys, you regenerate 4% mana per sec, something like that. So turning that off is a big deal, right? I mean, having no inherent mana regeneration is a big deal, but you have this one, so you have to stack your life high. Your life cannot change while you have energy shield. That's nice, right? I mean, if you get a damage over time effect or something, yeah, as long as you have the energy shield. I mean, the stuff that bypasses energy shield does not mean anything to you. That's nice. Unholy Might, 30% of all damage extra chaos damage, very nice, but 5% mana per second lose. Yeah, I mean, in combination with losing the enhanced mana regen can be nasty. Additional curse, no big deal, I would say. Hmm. 4% of increased magnitude of Unholy Might buffs you grant per 100 maximum mana. Yeah, I mean, could be good, but of course there are some problems here. Stacking mana is useful because it grants you more mana regen, because mana regen is percentage based. And the thing is, this character turns it off. But maybe there are some paths in which you take this one and not take this one, the one that prevents the thingy. Yeah, we'll see. And we have Tactician Mercenary. This was a weird one, can plant an additional banner. I have not played any build with banners, but yeah. So persistent buffs have 50% less reservation. That's pretty good, right? I mean, 50% less is insane, right? Because I have a minion build, and you go crazy for like a 10% reduced reservation. 50% is rather insane. Can place multiple banners, yeah. Projectile damage builds pin. Pin means, I believe, cannot move for 4 seconds or something, and if you are ranged that is close to a freeze, of course, it's not exactly equal to freeze, because they would be able to cast at you or attack at you from range. But if they are melee, right, and you are standing far away from them, that's good. Additional stun and ailment thresholds, I suppose. Okay, good. Totem, blah blah. Okay, that's it. So let's go over these, because these have to be somewhat field tested to see their values. We will have more than 100 new uniques coming in. What they aim for is to have a unique that can be chanced for every single base in the game. I mean, I know some uniques have more than one, but there are some uniques without any, so that's what they are trying to do, right? Every single item will have a unique. In the future, I don't think even this 100 does it. Yeah, this was shown to us in the reveal video. Yeah, Chernobog's Pillar. Increased armor, fire resistance, chaos resistance. That's actually a high amount, right? That's perfect. 27. I mean, it's perfect for a normal item, right? Uniques can probably exceed this, but gain 1% damage as fire damage per 1% chance of block. If you are stacking block, right, that can be pretty useful. We also had this one. That's very nice. Heroic armor. That's an interesting base. Requires level 84. Oh, that's because of the heralds. Interesting. Armory. Okay. So guys, take a look at this. It's insane. It grants all 3 herald skills at level 19, and life and resistance, and enemies in your presence have no elemental resistance. That's insane. You have 0 need for penetration. Whoa. Whoa. Wow, that's a mighty item. And thing is, it also provides a really healthy amount of resistances as well. Wow, good one. Okay. Wastegate. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to go over the 100 legendaries. They have revealed like 5 or 6, I think. And so I'm just going over those. That's a pretty nice one. Increased life, increased mana, flask recovery rate. Life and mana flask can be equipped in either slot. That means you can have 2 life flasks or 2 mana flasks. I see. I mean, if you are, for example, I mean, you wouldn't ever pick this over Ingenuity, but for example, let's say you do. If you are using Chaos Inoculation, you will have 0 need for life flask, right? So you can do 2 mana flasks, I think. I mean, it's nice to have. This is a bit of a somewhat unreadable. Oh, now it is. Okay, level 33. Aggravate. So guys, aggravate means when you are bleeding and you move, it gets doubled in strength, right? That is what aggravate means. And this also aggravates ignites. So that means that they will be receiving double damage from ignites if they move. I mean, it does look good. Ah, yes. Buckler. That's a new type of shield, as I said, and grants skill parry, as you can see, instead of what's the name? Raised shield. Infinite projectile parry range. Okay. Aha, that's a unique charm. These are coming. Unique tablets are also coming. Okay. So guys, normally I wouldn't, take a look at the dowsing charm, but thing is, the AFK Simulacrum Farmer build that I do, in that one we are either using a Ignite charm or a Bleed charm, right? Because the idea is go AFK, right? You want to get rid of some nasty status effects. So, ignite enemies in presence. Oh, we remove the ignite from ourselves and we ignite them. Okay, not too bad. I mean, it's better than the blue ones that we have lying around. Okay. Okay, that's not. Okay, we have hundreds of new support gems coming. Well, not hundreds, but more than 100. That will, of course, create infinite and myriad possibilities, right? There are quite a few. Yeah, there is some minion one. Yeah, take a look at this. Increase size, increase damage, 20% life. Additional reservation, 10 spirit. That's, I mean, the thing is, for, I'm thinking about the AFK seminar confirm immediately the size and the life. I mean, nothing, because they are basically immortal, but the 20% more damage. You have to compare that. There are new skill gems coming, and of course, Huntress is bringing a lot of skill gems. She has her own set. We have Asmerian Wisps coming. That's a new team. Yeah, so these are socketables, like runes, like soul cores, and it's hard to read. I'll try to read it for you. For example, Cat Talisman can be socketed in boots, and hits against you have 10% reduced critical damage wounds, etc. New type of socketable, that's nice. And game improvements. So we have the Atlas improvements coming in, because the end game was a little bit stale. Do the maps over and over and over. So we have some unique new unique maps coming. We have unique strong boxes coming in, unique tablets coming in, and there would be some classed maps sort of thing, right? We'll get to this. Okay. Yeah, we are getting something called a fracturing orb, which is really powerful. I think this will be rather expensive. So when you sorry. Sorry about that, guys. So we have the orbs. The orbs will lock a skill in place. And that will not be taken away by any chaos orb or whatever it is, which is pretty nice. As you can see in the example that they showed us, you lock the minion skills, and you don't really care if the armor goes away, if the intelligence goes away, and you don't care too much if the cast speed goes away. I mean, you might care about the cast speed a little bit, but the other stuff you don't really care, and you can chaos to your heart's content. This is a pretty valuable crafting item. Yeah, I think we'll get to this later on. So in the game mechanics, guys, there is only the expedition that was lacking a crafting sort of thing. Now we have recombined for the expedition. They will cost those useless artifacts, broken circle, blah blah. Those. They are not even worth 1/10 of an exalted. So you can recombine 2 items, and it will pick random modifiers from each and combine it into a new item. So we don't know the exact details, because guys, what happens if you pick one crossbow with 3 good modifiers and another crossbow with 3 good modifiers, right? 3 separate good modifiers, and let's say they form a perfect 6 modifier item, right? So how's that gonna work? I think the success chance will go lower or something. I mean, because they wouldn't let us do that, right? All of a sudden you'll be creating a mirror level item. So I'm sure they will balance that somehow. Okay, yeah, we are gonna get to this tower part. So in the pinnacle encounters, guys, the XP they were providing was removed, but you don't lose XP for dying anymore. So whereas, for example, let's say you are level 96.5, right? You grinded some towers, you wanna do the arbiter, but you are also afraid that you might die, and at level 96, dying is somewhat meaningful, right? It can set you back by some amount, even if you use the Omen of Amelioration. So and you might wanna wait for level 97, but that can take a long while, right? If you are, let's say, 96.5. So They just said, you know, these don't give XP anymore, and you know, no one was, you know, trusting the XP that they give to level, right? I mean, you don't want to be like, okay, I'm level 96 and 96 and a half, let me do 300 arbiters to level. You just, like, you don't you don't care about the XP that the arbiter gives out. But when you die and he doesn't take XP away, that's very nice. I think it's a nice thing, and we can still do the attempts. And they have also changed to all of the uniques from all of the bosses to drop at all difficulties. I did say all a little too many times, but that's what they did, because, you know, for example, Prism of Belief was, for example, Arbiter difficulty 4 only, right? Or the Mana Flask, what's the name? Melting Maelstrom was Simulacrum difficulty 4 only, and now it's gonna drop from all difficulties, but of course it's been lowered. I mean, difficulty 0 will have a lower chance, etc. I think that's how it goes. This is, I think, a very good change. So we are getting unique tablets, as you can see here, and as you can see as well, the range of the maps have been increased, because, you know, we used to have 5 to 10. Now this one has 13. So what they said was about the tablets, they will be reducing the number of towers in the map by about a factor of 3. So we will see 3 times as less towers, or 1/3 of the towers that we were seeing right now, right? And in order to compensate for that, the tablets will have approximately double efficiency compared to old times, right? And the map that you used in the tower will affect the tablet's efficiency as well. So if you use a tier 15 map, for example, so you guys, the tower map, you go to the tower map, you use a tier 15 map, and that will increase the efficiency of your tablet by 100%. And imagine, as I said, they were also increased by 100%. So, you know, you could get a 20 map tablet before putting it in tower, and the tower will amplify it by 100% more, ending up with a whopping 40 tablet map, right? It's insane, very nice, right? You don't have to constantly buy tablets anymore, and you can see 3 slots here. So how is that obtained? It will be based on the number of modifiers of your map, right? So if you use a tier 15 map with 6 modifiers means you will have access to all 3 slots. 3 modifiers, I believe, will mean 2 slots, and 1 modifier will mean 1 slot, which means, you know, if you do a tier 15 map with 6 modifiers, you will have 100% increased efficiency and also 3 slots, right? So you can do 40 map breach tablet, 40 map ritual tablet, 40 map, well, it would not be 40, but, you know, the boss tablets, overseer tablets, they were 7, I believe. So you can do 28, I guess, 28 map boss tablet, right? All of a sudden. And imagine how frequently you would be trading for, you know, tablets, right? Because imagine, you know, 5 to 10 maps, you'd have to constantly trade for tablets, right? I mean, if you were doing ritual, if you did ritual, right, you know, right, you constantly have to buy tablets. It's annoying. This one, imagine putting, you know, 20, 28, 32 maps, beautiful. And there are also, as you can see, unique tablets. And this one, the basic tablet, you know, the irradiated tablet, this one. And what it does is you can access all the maps in range. So for example, guys, let's say you have a ritual map that you want to go to, but there are 2 garbage maps in the way without anything. You can just skip those, right? It's not grand, but, you know, it will have some sort of usefulness. And we don't know what the modifiers are for the other unique tablets. Maybe they have this one, maybe they have some special stuff. We'll see. We have some unique tablets coming in, and they said something about the Atlas points. So the number of Atlas points goes up to 40. And in order to reach the last ones, I think you have to do these unique maps, something like that. And there is a feral megaliths map, right? you go through the map, you activate some monoliths, and then in the middle of the map they will spawn a boss, right? And after you kill the boss, you will get a harder boss up to 10 times, and when you defeat them all, you get to loot for all 10 bosses, and you get greater runes. As you can see, they are, you know, somewhat stronger. And thing is, I think so the ones in here are different, but I think they also exist for the runes that we know, right? So for example, the fire resistance rune, I believe it was called desert rune. There is a greater desert rune, and it gives 14 fire resistance now, right? So the runes have increased in power, and I think they also implemented lesser runes, so I suppose they will be starting dropping in the campaign, you know, very much earlier on, so you can immediately start with the lesser ones, then you move on to the normal ones, which is, I think, exactly as we have them now, and then we will have the greater ones, but the greater ones can be only obtained from this map, and therefore will be mighty expensive. And as you can see, there are some new kinds: alacrity, nobility, tithing, and leadership. Yeah, we'll see. I hope we get some new sockets, because we are getting a lot of socketables. There is a fractured lake. There are mirrored rares in the map. So guys, every single rare we'll be seeing literal double, right? Every single rare that we fight will be, you know, next to it will be another rare. And at the end, you are going to get interesting items like this. So for example, guys, on an amulet, you want the cat speed, you want the you know, +3 minion skills, you want blah blah, right? And sometimes you are like, if only I could have more suffixes, right? This time around you can. So this will mean, for example, that Tenebris amulet means you can have one prefix only, right? But 5 suffixes, right? This ring means you can have 4 prefixes but only 2 suffixes. And of course, you know, there is always a trade-off, but you can go for more specialized items, right? There is another one, the crystalline cavern. It's all about, you know, there are essences about, but when you kill the guys, you don't get the essences, but the last boss gets infused with the essences that drops them all. And now you can corrupt, you can use a Vaal orb on the map, on the essences, right? You can reroll all essences to be the same. You can roll essences to be the greater versions, and greater essences can be corrupted into corrupted essences. They are mighty strong. So guys, you know, in short, you should be using a Vaal orb on the essences that you see from now on, right? Not just this map. And as you can see, interesting stuff. On corruption, item gains 2 enchantments, right? So the problem with this one is it's not worth it, right? Because you are sacrificing. So this is not something extra. As you can see, this does count as a suffix, right? Take a look at this: armor, life, mana. These are prefixes. Charm slot, suffix. Lightning resistance, suffix. And this one, on corruption, item gains 2 enchantments, is also a suffix as well. Thing is, that can have up to like 45 of a resistance. I would prefer a 45 resistance, because, you know, what it gives me is not 2 additional enchantments. What it gives me is 1 additional enchantment, right? Because when I corrupt a belt, I can get an enchantment. I also can fail, but thing is, I can get 1 enchantment. And thing is, 1 enchantment is not worth for losing 45 resistance. Yeah, this is, I would say, weak. I think it should have been an additional modifier, right? We would have the 6 suffixes, 6 affixes, and then this should have been extra, because I fail to see the value, right? For example, guys, I would rather have here 45 cold resistance and not have this life or this lightning resistance, right? Because they do not measure up to 45 resistance, right? I mean, getting guaranteed 2 enchantments is nice, but in the end game, it's not gonna matter, because, you know, you can just corrupt it and get an enchantment, right? I mean, you fail and you try it on another belt. The essences are interesting. The Hysteria, Delirium, Horror, and Incenter, I think they were revealed, but we'll see here. Rogue Exiles, there are Rogue Exiles in map. They are wearing items, and they will tell you what items they are wearing, and so if you can kill them, you will get those uniques, right? And they will be like players. They will be dodge rolling away. They will be stepping out of the way. So yeah, these are a nice mechanic. They are rare. There are 12 of these. we have unique strong boxes like this. So this one that we have seen is going to revive the boss, revive the monster in it repeatedly, and every time it gets killed, receives an additional modifier and drops more loot. Yeah, about the map, I think they have skipped that part. Let me just go over this, and I'll try to keep it brief. It's a long video already. So there will be some corrupt areas. So there will be a corruption nexus in the middle. It's not here, but you go to the corruption nexus and you cleanse it, and you will have fractured maps, right? And the monsters in there will be cleansed, and cleansed monsters will be not dropping gear, but they will be dropping tablets, etc. more. So you can do the corrupted maps, right? And then do the corruption nexus at the heart of it, or you can beeline for the corrupted nexus and do the fractured maps. We'll see which strategy is better, which provides more yield, right? And okay, we have gone over these. There's the Q&A. Okay, there is something else that's not discussed here. I'm gonna go into it as Merriam Wisp, right? That was a little bit short. So guys, this is a mechanic. You go into a map, there will be a wisp there, right? Sometimes, and there is a cat, there is a bear, there is a sacred, and when you go next to it, right, it will start running away from you, and the monsters that it touches get empowered, right? So for example, cat means it's gonna dodge out of the way, right? Will summon cats. Bear makes them stronger. Sacred is a rare one. They have discussed this. It will upgrade the monsters that it touches in rarity. So for example, it touches normal mobs, they get magic. Magic monsters get rare, and rare monsters get literally turned into bosses. Pretty nice. That would be rare. So you have to follow it, right? If you cannot catch up to it, or if it goes too far away, it will dissipate and you will miss out on the loot. But if you can chase it to the end, it's going to give you some loot. I think they will appear in the campaign as well, but of course these are meant for an endgame mechanic, and in the end they will drop these talismans, right? As I said, I'm hoping we are getting some more sockets, because we are getting many socketables, but we have only so many sockets, right? I mean, we have 2 on the chest, we have 2 on the weapon, depending on the weapon, right? Sometimes it's a wand, we don't. 1 on the offhand, depends, right? Not all offhands. 1 on helmet, 1 on glove, and 1 on boots, and that's it, right? So not too many. I hope they do something about that. All right, so there is that, and let's go into the Q&A part. Temporarily it's gonna get nerfed. They say it's still pretty good. Herald of Ice is no longer chaining of itself. Grim Feast is going to be balanced somehow. Yeah, and they expect they have removed something, guys. That's nice, right? I mean, I don't want to go into the depth here, but there is something important. You know the frustration of doing a tier 15 map and getting a tier 1 map drop, right? It's very annoying and very weird. Why, right? So now they have removed those. A map cannot be dropping a map from a lower tier. So guys, you are doing a tier 13 map, you cannot get any maps that are below tier 13. That's very nice. I mean, they could maybe reduce the amount of maps that drop a little bit, but this is very nice, right? Because guys, imagine you did get strong, but earlier in the season you are doing let's say like tier 10 maps, and you do the map and you get like 2 tier 3, 1 tier 4 map, and no other maps drop. And from doing tier 10 maps, you have to go back to doing tier 4s. That's a little bit weird. So the Atlas 3 has been changed, right? They have let us know. I mean, there are some improvements there. And as I said, now we can have 40 points that will open new possibilities. But I think the final points will be gained through doing those unique maps. So you have to find them. I hope they will be, findable. Because when the new season started, I had to do hundreds and hundreds of maps, and I still haven't found one Citadel until they updated, right? So I hope we won't have that. So that's about it. It was a long video anyway, guys. Let me know what you think, and I will see you on the stream. Bye bye.